Hello and welcome. As you probably guessed, I am MotherAzure, but you can also call me Maria. I'm back again with another pickup card. This one is going to be about, it's going to be a forecast about the year 2022, which hopefully it should bring us some good things because the 2020 and 2021 have been difficult years for many of us. So we're happy to see some good things. So just to explain a little bit about the reading, I'm going to be doing like an overall general energy for each of the piles, like a general energy, general theme for the year. Then I'm going to do some blessings and some challenges that we may encounter during the year. And then I'm going to break it down further into three different areas of life. So I'm going to divide it into love and self-love, finance and career, and then spirituality and mental health. And then finally, just any additional messages that do come through. So there's a different look here. I'm using a new camera, so bear with me. I don't know how it looks. Well, I can kind of see how it looks. I can actually see it in like a viewfinder kind of thing, or whatever the fuck it's called. But we're trying it out. I'm going to be changing up the look a little bit, especially now you're going to notice it to pick your piles. So when I go into the piles to show you what I have here more closely, I'm actually going to cut and show you like up close. So pause the video when the piles come up so you can look at them. You can look at them like this right here, but the camera is so high up that I can't like get up and show you. So I'm gonna have to cut it. I'm still trying it out, so I'm not really sure how it's gonna go. So let's get into the pile. So for pile 1, you have the Bluebird and the Love and Be Loved charm. For pile 2, you have the Bumblebee and the Hope charm. And then for pile 3, you have the Red Cardinal with the Made with Love charm. All right, so let's get into your reading. Hello, if you pile 1, this is your reading, so I'm going to get into your cards. I did explain this in the beginning, but if you didn't get that far, again, I'm going to go over it again. So I'm just going to be laying out your cards. I'm going to explain what each position means or what each card means, because I did use a couple different decks here. So this card, which is from the Major Arcana Cats deck by Nickeldoodle, he's on Twitter. That's his @ on Twitter. It was given to me as a birthday gift, so I really love this deck, their cat. So this is gonna be kind of like the overall energy for your year. Okay, I'm just gonna lay them all out and then I'll get into it. Okay, so your overall energy for the year is the Empress. So I have the Empress. I don't even know if you can see that. Again, bear with me, dealing with a new camera. So then these are gonna signify well, they're not separated. I just used like these 3 for blessings and challenges. I'm just gonna read both blessings and challenges from these 3 cards, which are from the Arcana Tarot. Okay, so I'm just gonna get both of those from here. So you have the Death card. How do I? Okay, there we go. I'm getting confused looking at the viewfinder. Then you have Judgment. Interesting. Oh my goodies. And then you have the Tower. Holy shit. Okay, that's not bad. All right, I don't think it's bad. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but I'll get into it. Don't be afraid of the Tower. So then you have these 3 that are going into a little bit more detail about love and self-love, finance and career, and spirituality and mental health. Again, I'm going to be using the same 3 cards for all of those. I'm pretty much an intuitive reader. I can get all that from just this. So for love life, love and self-love, you have the 4 of Cups. Okay, I'm going to have to move it further so you can kind of see that. For finance and career, you have the 3 of Pentacles. Oh, holy shit, I hit the mic. So sorry about that. I have to use my other hand. Keep forgetting that. And then for spirituality and mental health, you got the 8 of Cups. I don't read reversals, by the way. Just gonna let you know that. And then these are just going to be additional messages. You have an affirmator card. I'm going to look at all of them, to be honest. So you have Star Bathing, Light Body, Crystal Grid, Transmission, and Activation. It's a lot of cards. I still have to go over them. I'll figure it out. Anyway. Then you have Big Picture Thinking, Pleiades Energy, Visionary Inspired Ideas. Move that there. So figuring it out again. Then you have Merkaba, if I'm saying that right. These are just going to be like additional things. Then you have Bliss. And then lastly, for your affirmator card, you got follow your heart. I am always rewarded when I follow my heart. I trust that the GPS in my heart knows all the best routes. And when it seems like it's taking too long to get where I want, I know that's because there's some cool, weird stuff to see along the way. So it's this card. I love it. All right, so let's get into your general energy first, which is the Empress. So with the Empress card is like the general energy for your year 2022. I see a lot of growth and especially fertility, because the Empress is someone who is very, when I say fertility, I mean abundance in every area of life, right? So with these cards right here, that may be a little bit scary because you do have Death, Judgment, and the Tower. You've got 3 major arcana. This is like major energy. If you know a little bit about tarot, that probably kind of, scared you off a bit with just these. But with the general energy for your year being the Empress, I see you overcoming any challenges, any hurdles that you may find in your way. And actually coming out very abundant from it. When I say abundant, I don't mean necessarily just money or only in terms of money. When I mean abundance, like abundance of love, of self-love, of everything. So everything you have here, I see all of that increasing, in all the good things that you have increasing in 2022 as a result of your own actions specifically. Because that did come up for me right now, intuitively, that this right here, this is gonna come about. It's not like just gonna fall on your lap. It's something that you're gonna be doing. Now, if you have something in mind that you have been planning on doing for a while, because we do have that big picture thinking here. If you have something in mind, as soon as I said that, I felt like a very nervous energy. So maybe it's something that kind of scares you because I mentioned it. So if you don't have something in mind right now that you've been thinking about doing for a while but kind of scares you, this may not be your pile if you don't have something like that. So maybe choose another pile, because I really feel like you know what I'm talking about here. So whatever that idea is or that thing you have in mind, it's probably career related in some way. It may involve public speaking or being in the public eye in some way, right? And I see that being kind of scary to you, or maybe a little bit nerve-wracking right now. But with that Empress card, again, I feel like you're going to overcome whatever fears you have surrounding this situation and actually coming out victorious and very abundant from it. Okay, so from your blessings and challenges, these, I'm going to get into like the part of the challenges first, because I feel like they are the most clear right now. Now, I don't think these cards are negative completely either. So you have the Death card and the Tower card. So both of these cards signify an ending to something. The Death card, it's a little bit, it's not that it's slower, but it's natural, because death is natural, right? In all areas of life. It's not literal death, don't worry about it. While the Tower is something more abrupt, more sudden, something that catches you off guard kind of way. But I really am feeling here, because you have that Judgment card in the beginning, that these two things, whatever falls apart in your life, is gonna be a result of your own actions, and that's not a bad thing. I see you like kind of taking methodical is the word that just came to mind, steps. So you're very calculated steps to get to an end goal, like a specific end goal right here. And you're gonna be seeing things in your life kind of leaving. You're gonna even remove yourself things from your life, or specifically maybe when you start doing taking these actions, these specific actions, things are going to start naturally falling apart in your life in terms of things that are not meant to be there. This reminded me of a quote. I wish I had my phone right now so I could read it to you, but I don't. It's from a book, but it says something about, I offer you the gift of crisis. And that one specifically talks about how crises, what the fuck am I saying? The crises, they shake things up and make things that are not meant to be there to begin with. They make those things fall off. So you kind of have things that are holding you back. They're going to be removed. Now, you may not remove those things deliberately, but by you taking these deliberate actions towards something, kind of like as you change, things around you are going to be changing. I'm really feeling every time this card comes up, I feel Aquarius energy. For me, Aquarius signifies like being the visionary in some way. But again, I feel like that could kind of scare you. It may be something that you're not used to doing, especially with this Follow Your Heart card. It may be something that is, it feels like an adventure, but at the same time, you're kind of scared of it because you have never done it before. So I don't feel like this is something, this is 100% something that's way out of your comfort zone, okay? So now, as blessings, this right here, the biggest blessing that you have here is this Judgment card, okay? What this Judgment card is representing right here, and also the things falling apart that are meant to be there, they are a blessing because they're not meant to be there to begin with. So they're not going to be holding you back anymore. And there are going to be new things, like by default, with these two here, you're going to be having new things that align with your energy come in to fill in their space, right? But like I was saying, this Judgment card for me here is one of your biggest blessings because Judgment signifies, between other things, enlightenment. And this, I see it almost as clarity and guidance. So I feel like you're someone who is very connected to your spirituality, which I'll get more into here because I'm already seeing that. It's like you have this, how do I say this? I almost choked up. So definitely throat chakra energy right here. So it really does feel like it's public speaking. Maybe you're planning on doing like a podcast or maybe a YouTube channel like this. It could be spiritually related, but not necessarily. We can use our spiritual gifts in many, many ways. They don't have to be like a spiritual business specifically. But it's like this amount of clarity that you have here is gonna be like the thing that's gonna prevent you kind of from going insane in a way, because these things, even if you know they're supposed to leave your life, even if you know that these things are not supposed to be there, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be painful in some cases. Again, the Tower is not bad, death is not bad, but sometimes these things that aren't supposed to be there, we get attached to them, and we become comfortable with them. So it may be kind of like a difficult time, and this clarity is what's going to keep you going and keep you centered, because I do feel like your mind is like a very, very strong muscle, to call it that, right? Well, your mind is a muscle, but you're going to have to really rely on your ability to see things clearly, and I already feel like you can do that because I feel like you are very intellectual, probably very logically oriented as well, and there's this, I was gonna say sharpness before I moved that, but if you, I don't know, I'm gonna try to get that closer to you. This Judgment card is like an elephant. I don't know if you can see that because this camera, it autofocuses. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, it's an elephant, and this elephant has like it looks like the world, but it's water. It's like, it almost looks like a plate of water, or something like that the elephant is gazing into. So I really do feel like you're gonna, one of the biggest blessings here for you, there may be like an actual increase in your psychic abilities in some way, but if not, I do see that you are gonna become very clear on what you want, the steps that you need to take to get to what you want. Like, you're gonna be able to see also that it's coming up like the truth of a situation. I don't know if it's a situation you're in right now or a situation that you're gonna be with in the future, but yes. And also here with this Judgment card in the water, I do see you becoming more in touch with your emotions, which may be a very difficult thing for you for some reason. Like getting in touch with, if you're very logically oriented, like I said, you may have a hard time feeling your emotions, feeling your feelings, I would say, because you intellectualize them, and it's like you don't feel your feelings, you think your feelings. Does that make sense? But I see that ending in 2022. You're becoming more open with your emotions. It's finally gonna be that you're probably gonna be taking that step in terms of your healing, your personal healing, right? So what other blessings do I have here? I mean, this fresh new beginning, they're not showing me, I mean, these are ending cards more specifically, but after every ending, you have a new beginning. So you're going to have a new beginning. Now, they're not talking to me about that new beginning specifically, so I'm assuming that they are keeping this a kind of like a surprise for you in some way, I suppose. But you are going to be getting this this new beginning. Now, I'm going to get more into the details. So again, this card is going to be represent love and self-love. So you got the Four of Cups. Again, with this Four of Cups, I really do feel like you're not very in touch with your emotions, because if you have seen, like, at least not right now, if you have seen like the regular tarot, there's a man who is leaning against a tree. He seems lost in thought, maybe even a little bit annoyed. And he's being offered a cup on the hand. It's like, it looks like the hand from God in some way, or something like that, or just spirit, because the hand is just a disembodied hand holding a cup, offering it to him. He already has 3 cups, but he's not even looking at the new cup. So in terms of self-love, you may have a bit of a harder time towards the beginning of the year, maybe. And maybe towards the middle of the year, you're gonna be able to take that cup. Now, there's a lot of emotional kind of like healing here. So I don't know if there could be new relationships, like brand new relationships here, that with people. And when I say people, they don't have to be like romantic relationships, just relationships in general. But they could be romantic, of course, because this is love, that you either don't know yet, or that you haven't been in a romantic relationship before. But for me, this is specifically about self-love. They're also talking about that part, but like towards maybe the middle of the year, you're gonna be able to take this cup and actually look at your feelings. It may be difficult at first because you have this cup, and like now you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do with a cup. So you're gonna have to sit with that for a bit. And you're probably going to go through some type of this grieving energy. Like if you have been through a lot in your life and you haven't really felt your feelings, because your brain kind of stops you from feeling stuff, so you don't feel hurt. It's just like a defense mechanism. I would say that all humans do it at least once in their life. It's like numbing yourself out. But you may go through like this period of intense kind of sadness for a bit, and really processing mostly negative emotions that you didn't look at before. But that's not gonna be like the whole year, because again, we have these two, and the Empress and the Judgment card, especially in these two representations for me, especially that Judgment card right here, is someone who is in touch with their emotions. So I do feel like by the end of the year, you're going to be very comfortable with your own emotions. And in terms of self-love, I really do see you loving yourself more, because with this representing your self-love, I would say that right now, you may have a hard time believing that you are lovable, or believing that just loving yourself as you are, with your flaws and whatever, because we all have flaws. None of us are perfect. So again, that may be a theme. That's like kind of like a theme that's going to be coming up in the next year. You're really noticing the ways in which you don't love yourself enough, and eventually doing something about it to make it better. So now in terms of your finances and career, we do have the Three of Pentacles. Now in terms of finances and career, again, I don't know if that focuses or not, no idea. Anyway, because I tried to make it so you could see everything, like it wouldn't have like that weird blurred out thing, but I don't know if you can see the cards if I get them closer. Anyway, so with the Three of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles for me, it really represents kind of like collaboration with other people. And also building a foundation of some sort. So if you have well, two things. If you are planning on going like the self-employment route, which may be very possible for this pile, especially with this visionary here, I see you laying the foundation for your abundance within the next year. So by laying the foundation, I don't mean, so like for you, you do have the Empress, which the Empress is literally abundant, but I don't feel like you have anything established yet that is gonna begin within the next year. Now, I'm not saying like it could happen that you start your business and it's like a huge hit and you get like a lot of money, like a downfall of money. That could be the case, but if that doesn't happen like that, don't become discouraged because you're still the Empress. So it could start slow, especially with this card. So it could start off slow and maybe feeling very stagnant, but don't worry because it's gonna take off after that. This first year, focus more on kind of figuring out how you want to do things and start doing, like actively starting to do them, because the pentacles are physical. So I see this like a physical action, not just thinking, like actually materializing your ideas in the physical world. So laying this foundation for later. So this kind of like the year of like trial and error, figuring things out and seeing what doesn't work, changing it, seeing also how you can improve. And that's what you're going to be kind of doing this year in terms of that. If you're going like the entrepreneur route, if you are not going that route and you are working like with someone else above you, like a superior, I do see you collaborating with people because, pardon me, there's like so much like throw energy in this pile. It's insane. Let me take a... Okay. I had to take a deep breath right there. So I just see you collaborating with other people. If you are not going the entrepreneurship route, well, if you do go that way, you could possibly collaborate with other entrepreneurs like you, or just partner up with some people at some point in the year that are which is going to be very, very helpful for you. But especially for the people that are not going into like entrepreneurship, there may be like a very important project that includes other people that are going to be doing, that's going to be very, very beneficial for you and for everyone, because I do see that balance right here. It's kind of like in a triangle shape, which I love. It's like an upside down triangle as well. Well, there's two. It's like two triangles. Oh shit! I just noticed that. So the Merkaba right here, this Three of Pentacles. I don't know if you can see that. It's in the same shape. Like there are 3 pentacles. You probably can't see that. And then there are like 3 diamonds, like the opposite way. That's really interesting. I hadn't noticed that. I just noticed it. So it's like the same thing. Now, if you don't love the idea of like group projects, because maybe you end up doing most of the work anyways, I don't see this as being like a difficult thing for you, because I see it being as I do see it in a very balanced way. So I feel like responsibilities are going to be assigned accordingly, and there's actually going to be cooperation, which is very important. This is not a group project. This is just you kind of... I heard networking, so you may start networking more, so like opening up your horizons a little bit, talking to other people, and maybe through those people, I'm hearing for some of you, through those people, you may find another job. Possible. Which would make sense. Yeah, so what they're doing, like my guys are going a specific route. Like, so for some of you, when you're gonna start kind of like networking and like branching out, meeting other people like within your own field, probably within your own workplace, but through these people, somehow, some way, you're gonna find like a new job, like a new, maybe like you're gonna find like a change in career, or it's gonna be inspired by them in some way. And you may start at an entry level in another, like, it's not factory, industry. Is it industry? Industry is the word that's coming up, which is interesting to me. So like a complete change, again, with that stepping out of your comfort zone. And you're going to be, if that's the case for you, you're going to be kind of like laying that foundation for that specific career this year. So only take that if it resonates, because that's going to be for like, maybe not that many people, but it's coming up. I'm hearing something about the entertainment industry, so I don't know if you want to become an actor in some way, because specifically acting is coming up. And also like acting, but like in like music videos. That's for someone, I don't know. So there's that with the career and finances stuff. Again, laying your foundation, like this year, like I said, you could get like a downfall of money, but if that doesn't happen, it's gonna kind of like start building slowly. But I do see it as being stable, because the Three of Pentacles, in my opinion, seems really stable. It's like a stable building in some way. That's kind of like what it looks like, and like that's what it looks like for me in the Rider-Waite Tarot. So now to get into the spirituality and mental health part, we do have the Eight of Cups. Now I don't see the Eight of Cups. I actually quite like the Eight of Cups as a card. I absolutely love it, because it's like it's leaving something behind to take on a completely new journey. And what I like about tarot is that you can see what comes after the card. So when I see this, I actually consider the cards that come after. So after the Eight of Cups, you get the Nine of Cups, which is like a personal, like feeling fulfilled and like wish fulfillment. And then after you got the Ten of Cups, which is like the ultimate happiness that you can actually share with other people. So this Eight of Cups, I see it in this year, that's kind of you embarking on a kind of like self-improvement journey. And probably in your mental health is going to be increasing a lot. Like there may be a moment, which I will talk about because it's coming up, that may be kind of like very jarring for you in some way. And it's kind of going to force you to assess your situation and decide whether you're going to stay or you're going to go. And I do see you choosing going in a different direction and embarking in this new journey. So like for you, a lot of things here is about something ending and you beginning something new that you're not used to doing, which I love, and it's very brave. So I do want to mention that. So in terms of your spirituality, I actually also see the Eight of Cups. I associate it a bit with the Hermit card, because in the Eight of Cups, there's a man leaving these 8 cups behind, and he's moving towards a mountain. And the Hermit card is a man on top of a mountain. So I kind of see it as the same person almost. And it's like you beginning. It's not that you're not spiritual already, because I feel like you are, and quite a bit, but it's you learning something new about your spirituality. Like if you thought you were done and kind of like cemented in your spirituality and your beliefs right now, just wait until next year, because maybe it's not that your beliefs are going to change, it's that you're going to kind of like learn something completely new and change your approach to your spirituality. And also in terms of your mental health, I do see it here as you kind of like, I did mention like the grief thing, and you kind of purging and feeling these emotions that you hadn't felt before. So it's like you processing them and saying, okay, I did it, I need to move forward now. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here in terms of that. I really love that. So a lot of focus here on your emotions. I didn't pick out these cards. These two kind of fit perfectly with the what's it called? Like the elements? The suits of the cards. Well, the elements too. But usually like the mind is represented by swords, and you didn't get swords here anywhere. You got mostly cups and things related to water, which, I mean, water. There's water here as well. So I actually feel like you're gonna probably be very stressed in the beginning of the year with these right here, but eventually I do see you becoming much more happy and being more so in harmony with within your own life. So I do see like a general really good improvement for next year. Again, I'm not going into details about timing except for like beginning, middle, like the end of the year, because this is going to be different for everybody. It's a very, very general reading, and things can always change. You're in control of all of this. It's completely up to you. This is where things are going right now in this moment as you're watching this reading, okay? So what I was saying with Merkaba, I associate Merkaba, which is something that says, if I'm saying it right, I don't know, in the guidebook, with this connection within like body, mind, and soul. So I do see you kind of like aligning with your truth a lot more and aligning with who you truly are on every level. So it's like you're gonna have like a huge awakening, which makes sense with these major arcana cards here. So it's like a huge awakening for you, but it's gonna be very good. So I don't see this as a dark night of the soul, because you already have so much clarity. So I feel like you're gonna know how to navigate it. So even I would say that you've been through your dark night of the soul, or at least one of them already. And this is more like you're like, okay, I kind of know what to do now. Like, I know this has to go, and I'm gonna try my best to let it go. I know I need to heal this, so I'm gonna try my best to heal this. So I see you actually putting in the work, because you are very aligned with your higher self, your guides, the universe, spirit, whatever you call it. So I do see you being very, very aligned, and also pay a lot of attention to your thoughts, because you're going to be getting a lot of good ideas, okay? And do, like, write them down, like, keep a diary, I don't even know, just write your ideas down, because many of them are going to be helpful. And with the star bathing here, something that's really going to help you, I think, for next year is, I mean, you are in alignment, but it's kind of like sitting down and now I feel like I knew what crystal grid, what the crystal grid was and what star bathing is, but I kind of forgot, to be honest. Like the actual star bathing, the Rebecca Campbell, I think, the person that made this deck, this is the Starseed Oracle. She has a star bathing meditation, so I really do encourage you to go for that. If I remember to put in like the link, I will in the description. I'm gonna try to remember, but I can't guarantee you that I will. I have like a terrible memory. I don't even remember what I said already. Go look into that, because it may be very helpful for you. But it's kind of like, I was gonna say also regarding this, you're connected, but like connecting even more in terms of going out like into nature, maybe not even into nature, just opening a window and looking up at the sky, like really connecting with that. And I'm not even sure if I believe in like the like star seeds themselves. I kind of do, I kind of don't. It's kind of like the thing here for me. I kind of believe in everything and nothing at the same time. But you have like this connection to, with your mind, is like you're very up there, like kind of like up there in the clouds, but literally, because I feel like you really connect to astral, like astral bodies, and like the stars, specifically maybe Pleiades, because Pleiades is here with this one right here with big picture thinking, but not necessarily could be any of them. Could be Ursa Minor, Ursa Major is coming up as well, but just a connection, general connection with the stars. So it might be helpful for you to look into that a little bit more, like how to connect with like celestial bodies. I said astral bodies before. Astral? Celestial? I mean celestial. You may be astral traveling. I don't know, girl. So you don't have to be a girl. I just said it like that for some reason. So I do want to end this reading again, going back to this card of follow your heart, because again, this is a general reading. It's going to be different for everyone. This is why you only take what resonates. Never take this as like a little, like, well, never take this as like the absolute truth, because I only see what is shown to me, and I'm doing it for a general group of people. So really use your discernment. But what I was going to say here that I think is going to apply to everyone that watches this is to follow your heart, as suggested by this card. So whatever happens next year, following your heart is going to be is going to lead you to the answer and the correct choices. Because I feel like, again, if you are someone who is very stuck in your own mind, it may be difficult for you to connect with your heart and what you truly desire, maybe your emotions as well, as we mentioned before. So, but like, it's making an effort to listen to that little voice, to your intuition that's telling you where to go, because it's never wrong. And with this Empress card, even though the Empress card is like the version, like the part of the divine feminine archetype in the tarot that is most physical, I still see her as someone who is connected to herself. So really do try to connect to yourself as much as you can, and to follow your heart as much as you can, because it doesn't matter what challenges you encounter, you're always going to be able to get out of them by and overcome them by following your heart and what your heart truly tells you. Really listen to that. And if you mess up at some point, don't beat yourself up over it. I feel like you could be like a little bit perfectionistic, and you may be very hard on yourself. But next year, try to dial that down a little bit, and really treat yourself kindly if you mess up. Like, we're human, we all make mistakes. I'm not for like foreshadowing that you will make mistakes. I mean, we all make mistakes like every fucking year, but it's about being more gentle with yourself and really following that little voice that you have right there. It's kind of telling you what to do. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Thursday at 12 p.m. EST, and occasionally on Sundays. Also go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do all of my updates about the channel over there, and I also post readings sometimes, so like other stuff. If you want to buy me a coffee, my Venmo and my Cash App are in the description down below. It is never expected, but it is always very appreciated. So I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and much love to you. Happy New Year. Bye bye. Hello, Pal 2, this is your reading. So I'm going to get into your cards. If you didn't watch the beginning, I'm still going to explain where these cards are supposed to go. So bear with me. So this card is going to be your overall energy for 2022. So here we go. You got the Lover's card. Again, I don't know if I can bring that closer to you. New camera. Bear with me. Then these 3 cards are going to represent some blessings and challenges. I'm going to read both from these cards. It doesn't really matter. All cards have like light and shadow attributes. So I'm just going to get into that. I'm an intuitive reader. I just read it like however it makes sense. So your first card is the 3 of Wands. Then you have the 3 of Cups, 2, 3, so 33. Interesting. That's really interesting because you got 33, like 3, 3, and then you got the Lover's cards, which is number 6, which is 3 plus 3. The fuck? And then you have the 10 of Wands. All right. These cards are gonna represent. I'm gonna look a little bit more into love and self-love, finance and career, and spirituality and mental health with these cards. So I'm just gonna lay them out as well. So I did it backwards. I know it's backwards because I just grabbed them wrong. So it's this one. Fucking hell. So you got the Knight of Cups. I grabbed them wrong. I do that all the fucking time. It's insane. Then I have the 6 of Cups for finance and career. And then here you have for spirituality and mental health, you have the 3 of Swords. Don't be afraid of the 3 of Swords. It's just a card. It's gonna be okay. So, and these are just gonna be like other general messages or just things to go along with the reading. So you have perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. I love that. Then you have I remember soul plan. The fated life versus the destiny life. Then you have divine matrix. Ground. And your affirmator card. There are affirmations. As like indicated by the name. Why did I feel the need to explain that? I don't know. You got authenticity. Authenticity is the name of the game. Whatever comes up, I will feel it. Whatever needs to be said, I will say it. Whoever doesn't get it doesn't have to get it, but at least they know it because I've said it. And that's way better than leaving a passive-aggressive note about it. I love that. What does that say? Yeah, it's writing in French. It's I don't know if you're French or not. Maybe you speak it. I just felt, for some reason, I felt like looking closely at the card. So it's like a typewriter and has like a little paper right here, and the letters are French, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like it. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so let's get into your general energy, which is the Lovers. Obviously, the Lovers, it can talk about love, so that may be a major theme for next year. But the Lovers also talks about choice, and specifically very important choices, like making a choice that is kind of like, and also the Lovers has to do with harmony as well. So kind of like has to do with making a choice that is in line and harmonious with who you really are, and that will be kind of like the correct choice in that moment. Okay, so I'm trying to explain that a little bit, because it's kind of an interesting energy to have as like the overall energy of the year for you. So again, you might be making some very important decisions, and just as I said that, my guides called my attention to this card, which is Divine Matrix. There's a Saturn right here. If you don't know a lot about astrology, which I really don't either, but I know a little bit, Saturn is a planet that rules Capricorn. And the thing with Saturn is that Saturn is the planet of time, but also the planet of limits, and it has to do with responsibility. And I really do feel like that the reason that I feel like they called my attention to it, because Saturn, that thing with responsibility about Saturn has to do with this aspect of the Lovers card, which is taking actions that are in harmony with yourself at that point, because that is a responsible thing to do. So if important choices come up for you next year, which I truly do feel like they will, whether in love or not, because I'm going to address the non-love part first, maybe just not focus on the one thing. It's like they really want you to think about it and go with the choice, not the choice that seems the most appealing first off. So it's kind of like, don't take anything off face value. Really kind of think about it. Just as I'm talking to you, I'm feeling very hot for some reason, which doesn't make sense because it's really fucking cold right now, right here. I mean, I'm wearing 2 of these, and like my breath is hot. So I don't know what that means. Are you sick? Meh, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. So, something just went tap over there. So, yay. So anyway, that happens sometimes. I lost my train of thought. What the fuck? Anyway, so the Lovers card. I did talk about that already, like the choice part. So now I'm gonna get more into like the love part of it, because I mean, it's the Lovers. I can't really talk about it without talking about love, I think. So in terms of love, like I said, it could be like a major theme next year. Like relationships could be a very big theme next year. Again, the Lovers is ruled by Venus. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And the thing with Venus is that Venus rules like relationships, like the 6th. So no, it's not the 6th. It's the 7th house. 7th house in astrology. So when I say relationships, again, they don't mean necessarily romantic relationships only. It's talking about all relationships, all partnerships there are. So there is going to be like an emphasis on your partnerships and relationships with other people, how you relate to other people, how you communicate with them, and just like the general dynamics of your relationships are going to be kind of like be put more into perspective next year. And again, they want you to be responsible with whatever choices you make regarding that part, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. Again, don't take anything at face value. If there's a red flag, take the fucking red flag, okay? Don't just let it wave by and just go, hello. No, just take the fucking red flag if you see it. I don't know why I feel the need to mention that, but maybe important. But yes, so that's kind of like your general energy. And again, another thing that I'm feeling here, like it could be like within the year, you may not feel very stable, but not that you're gonna feel unstable. It's like your energy is gonna be going like ping-ponging back and forth in some way. It's like not a constant thing. So you may deal with a couple ups and downs next year, which may not be necessary. It's not necessarily a bad thing, just things maybe shifting and changing a lot, like this sense of impermanence within next year, which again is not bad. It depends on how you look at it, right? So if you're a naturally more flexible person, or you have worked on your ability to be more flexible within your own life, if you have worked on that, this may not be that difficult for you. If you're someone who is very fixed and doesn't like change a lot, this may be challenging for you. But again, this next year, I really do feel like it's about expansion. So I'm going to get into that right here, because these are going to be kind of like your blessings and challenges. And yes, so the Three of Wands is about expansion. And although I'm looking at like the general thing, I really do feel like you're going to be expanding in many, many ways of your life. So especially if what I just said resonates in the sense that maybe you don't really like impermanence a lot, you like things a certain way, you don't like those things to change necessarily. This is going to be a year where you're going to be learning a shit ton of lessons, which they don't have to be painful in and of themselves. You just have to be open to them. Does that make sense to you? And again, they're really reminding you that it really does depend on how you look at things, because the perspective says none of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. This coming into perspective. It's coming into perspective. Oh my god. For me here, that is like within the next year, to really be mindful of situations. You may be, before you get too caught up in a situation, it's kind of like they want you to literally zoom out and look at it kind of like from the outside, or in a more detached manner, so you can see all angles of it, and maybe even see like the higher purpose of what's going on. That's really going to help you next year. But again, your blessings, again with that Three of Cups, the Three of Cups for me signifies kind of like the celebration with other people specifically, because it's a Three of Cups. It's also like when I say celebration, it feels like a party for some reason, but there is that emphasis of other people. So it's not that next year your relationships are gonna suck. That's not the case. It's just that relationships as a whole will become like a focal point for you, and many of those times I feel like they're gonna be a good thing. So if this past year you didn't have the chance to like hang out with friends, or maybe you met friends on the internet and you haven't been able to meet them because of the pandemic or whatever, you're probably gonna be able to do that within next year. So I do feel like you're going to be having a lot of fun, to be honest, in whatever way you define the word fun, because this is celebrating for me with other people getting drunk. It's just kind of like the drunk card. I remember like my uncle, he looked at that card once. He doesn't fucking believe in any of this. He was like, so this is the drunk card. And like, I just can't forget about it ever since. So that may be a thing for you, which I truly do believe is a blessing. Now, as for the challenges, even though these all could represent challenges, like expanding could be a challenge for you. I did mention that. Maybe you will have some type of issues with some of these people that you're going to be meeting or spending your time with. And that's going to be challenging for you, because I feel like, especially with that Lover's card, you're going to be trying to kind of like keep peace, like, maintain like the peace as much as you can, and it's just not gonna be happening in some cases, and if that happens, just leave people alone, in the sense that you're not responsible for that. Like if you want to be like the peacemaker, you can try, but if people don't listen to you, you don't have to, like, they don't want you to kind of get upset about it or get hung up on it and feel like it's your fault. It's if things go south, like no, it's not your, like, it's not your responsibility. You don't have to like deal with that, okay? It's okay if you want to do it like out of the goodness of your heart, but don't take it as a responsibility in that sense, because other people and their actions are not your responsibility. A major challenge here, I feel like it's kind of like a burnout, because you do have that 10 of Wands right here. So you could experience a little bit of burnout. So really be careful, I would say, in the sense of if you start going out, to kind of balance it out. Again, the Lovers, it's balanced Libra energy, to kind of that Venus energy, to be as balanced as possible in that sense, because if you go overboard too much, you could experience burnout, and that's gonna be great. That's not gonna be great. Like, nobody likes burnout, obviously, but it's like a major challenge for you here is very clear with a 10 of Wands, which, oh, I just mentioned it. Like, I literally just mentioned that, like, the thing with people. So that's coming up again, like, you taking on these wands that many of them are not yours. So a major challenge is realizing that you're carrying wands that aren't yours to begin with, and letting go of those, because you might feel responsible for them. Again, it's kind of like peacemaker energy, or just like the bigger person out of the group. I just heard like a, oh yeah, like I heard like a yes in my head, like, oh my god, yes. So maybe someone said that just that was doing this, like kind of like an exasperated and kind of like annoyed yes, like I know. So that's coming up. It's gonna be a challenge, but again, you have this blessing of expansion here. And the 10 of Wands in the suits, like after the 10 there comes a new beginning, and you're gonna have 1 so I really do see you overcoming that, but the challenge is gonna be in realizing those things and putting down the wands, basically. So again, to get more into like the details, so we have this card to represent love and self-love. I'm gonna be talking about both of them. So you got the Knight of Cups. So again, with the Lovers, that's your main energy for next year. Again, with relationships, so you may receive an offer of love within the next year, or you will give it to someone, because the Knight of Cups is carrying the cup on his horse, okay? But for some reason, I'm seeing it as you. So I don't know if you're gonna be developing feelings for someone, or you have had your sights on someone for a while, and you're gonna be deciding to move forward with it. Like, actually offer your cup to them. So for some reason, like, I usually see it as someone else doing this for you, but in this reading, like, for many of you, I feel like you are going to be taking that first step, which, congratulations, that's really brave. I could never. But also in terms of self-love, the Knight being a step further from the Page of Cups, I just see it as you becoming more secure within yourself and truly seeing more of your value. It doesn't mean that you don't, like, your self-love and your ability to be confident within yourself doesn't falter sometimes. In fact, I feel like the Knight of Cups sometimes needs more confidence. But I do see you growing in that sense. So your self-love and your love in like terms of relationships are really gonna be improving within the next year. Okay, so like really look at Venus. For some of you, this may even be like your Venus return. I don't know, look it up in astrology if you want. I'm not even sure what it means or when it happens, but if it is for you, that's gonna explain, like, it's whatever I said here is probably gonna be increased for you next year. So just look into that, because it did come up. So it may be like your Venus return. I don't even know when it happens. I feel like it could be like every couple of years. I don't even know. So then for finances, pardon me, and career, we have the Six of Cups. Now the Six of Cups could be seen as sharing. So I feel like you could receive money from someone else. Not, well, it could be that you're doing a job for them, but for some of you, this could be like some type of maybe inheritance, or someone who's like very generous, or maybe even within your relationship, maybe you get into a relationship with a partner that has money and is able to give you gifts or share their abundance with you. It's not that you're not going to be bringing anything to the table. It's just that other people are going to be contributing in the sense of your money. Again, like the thing with relationships and other people, it's so fucking interesting. So in terms of your like career specifically, again, there's that emphasis on other people. So you may work with, okay, I'm hearing something specific. Yes, I was going to say that you are going to probably be working in collaboration, like in tandem with other people, but I heard specifically something for you. So I don't know if you work maybe if you work in the what's it called? It's like the service. No, it's not service. It's the, oh my god, hospitality industry, in that branch of careers. Because what's coming up for me is like you doing a service to others in some way. So something that you do is to help other people in some way, and that's going to be very important for you this next year. So I don't know if that has to do with being in the hospitality business in some way, or if maybe you start working, like, it's something that benefits other people. So it's like you're gonna be interacting with people pretty directly next year in some way, and it's like it's really gonna help you, like, in the sense it's like gonna really gonna make your talents shine. I got really fucking stuck for no reason. That happens so much to me. In terms of the career, like, I feel like it is something that you are very connected to emotionally, because we do have those cups right here. So I don't feel like this is a career, I mean, it may pay well, but here's the thing with this career, what I'm feeling most here, like, cups for me and Venus energy represents like kind of like art and stuff like that, which is something that Venus rules anything that is beautiful, and that includes art. And it's not that this may not pay well, but it's like you do it because you enjoy it and you really like it, and it really resonates with your soul in a way, and that's really going to be coming to the forefront. If you're not doing something like that yet, you will be doing that by next year. For some of you, it's going to be more so towards the end of the year, but it's going to be different for everyone. Again, it is a general rating. You may be traveling. I don't know why I'm seeing that. That's interesting. I never looked at that card like that, but you might be traveling places that you really wanted to go. You may want to look into astrocartography if you want, especially if you're in your Venus return. You look at your Venus line. You may even meet like your soulmate or some shit in like the Venus line. Look it up. It's like a really interesting thing. I can't even explain it to you because I don't know about it that much. I mean, like, I talk about things and I'm still confused about them, but I have to mention them if they come through. So the elephant in the room here is the Three of Swords for spirituality and mental health. So the Three of Swords usually talks about heartbreak, but it's usually like a period of like pain. It's a heart in like the general tarot, like the original tarot, being stabbed by three swords. So obviously it's gonna fucking hurt. So what I'm seeing here in terms of your mental health is like you're really gonna be opening up some deep wounds. So as seeing how your next year is gonna be, there's a theme about relationships with other people. It doesn't mean that necessarily some people are gonna hurt you within the next year. It more so feels like you dealing with people despite some inner wounds that you have. So you may have like commitment issues or like a fear of intimacy, and that's really going to be challenged next year because you're going to be meeting like a lot of people, or maybe getting into a romantic relationship, and that's going to be kind of scary to you, and you're going to be dealing with these wounds as they come up, and it's going to be painful because wounds hurt, but you have to tend to them, right? If you have a wound, you can't just leave it there like just bleeding until you pass out or some shit. You have to take care of them. So and bandaging it and putting in like medicine and just topical things to help that wound, it's gonna hurt. It may be very uncomfortable a lot of the time, but you still have to do it. And I do see you doing that for yourself in terms of your mental health. In terms of spirituality, that's gonna be like a spiritual experience for you, honestly, because that's a thing that I don't think a lot of people that are not in the spiritual community realize, that a lot of things about spirituality is about self-improvement, and a lot of it has to do with healing, and you're gonna be doing that. So for you, spirituality might become like almost like a safe place in terms of your healing right here. That's what I'm seeing, because a lot of things with spirituality is like spirituality tells you to feel, like focus and like connect with your own energy, and that's what you're gonna have to do to heal. So I feel like in terms of spirituality, this card is not necessarily bad. You could have some type of like a tower moment in terms of your spirituality. It's not necessarily bad, but it's like maybe something that you believed, like that you believe right now, is gonna change sometime within the next year, and it may be a little bit painful, but it's not gonna be that bad. I really don't feel like that's gonna be that bad, even though it's a Three of Swords. There's more focus on your mental health and your healing and how that relates to your spirituality, more so than like separate things or like this in like separate ways. So both your mental health and your spirituality and your emotional healing are very connected for you next year. So you're really going to be working through that, especially if you have wounds in terms of relationships with other people. That's something you're really going to be dealing with for the next year, but you can 100% do it. Like, you know how the same thing that Rumi said, the wound is where the light enters you. Okay, so this is not going to be forever, it's going to be temporary, and you're going to heal. I truly do believe that, because after the Three of Swords we got the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is rejuvenation and healing, so I do see you overcoming this. So this is not something that you're not going to be able to move past. Okay, so I already went through that. Let's see about what else I have here to look at. It says, I remember, soul plan, the fated life versus the destined life. Now, the thing with this card, how do I explain this? I just see her connecting with her feelings here, because she does have a pool right there again. But with this I remember card, they're right now specifically pointing out to me how I feel like you knew something like this was gonna be coming around pretty soon for you. You just didn't know when. Like this theme of healing in terms of relationships and around relationships, you knew it was gonna come about because you've taken actions to heal it. And it's kind of like you knew you couldn't run away from this forever. You knew you were gonna have to deal with it at some point. The other side of this card, this card talks about how we choose to learn certain lessons before we come to this planet. I do want to mention like that, saying that we choose the experiences that we go through before we get here. It's kind of like a little bit of victim blaming. I don't love it, so I don't usually mention it. However, I do believe that we may choose the lesson. We just don't choose how the lesson happens, because I don't want people to feel like what happened to them was their fault, because that is never the case. Okay. So, but this is like destined to happen. You have to get through this, and you will. But it's like, this is like a very important milestone within your spiritual journey right here on this earth. So the other thing with Divine Matrix, again, Divine Matrix is like about connection for me. Like everything is connected. There's a plan. There are things happening for a reason. Like nothing is happening just for shits and giggles. Like all of this is it's important. Every single piece is an important piece of the puzzle. Okay, so you're really gonna be making, so you're gonna have so many fucking epiphanies. Like I'm calling it right now. Like if it happens, let me know. Like come back and let me know. If you want. Don't feel pressure into that. I'm seeing this. I'm looking at this moon as like a very dark moon. If you're into the astrology, look into your black moon Lilith, if I'm not mistaken. That it's like a point. It's not even like an asteroid. I don't even know what it is. But some people say it represents your shadow self. So if you look at that point in astrology, it may be helpful for you next year. So now you're being called to work with that, and that's like divine, like the dark feminine energy, or just like yin energy, or like the part of us that's kind of chaotic and that we suppress in some way. So do look into that if you want. If not, this is just talking about, to me, that you're going to be doing like a shit ton of shadow work. look into that if you don't know what it is. I'm not gonna stop to explain it. This reading is already pretty long. It's like a psychological concept. It was, I don't remember who was developed by. I think it was Carl Jung, but I'm not sure. But again, anything that happens within the next year, they want you to take a step back and to assess it from a different point of view, because that's going to help you not get too caught up on it, okay? And I did want to mention this, the way that you chose this charm. This charm says hope. This charm has a bird on the back, which I didn't notice, but all the charms that I have for the readings today, they were all birds except this one. But at the end, you still have a bird in this one. It's like a little dove, I think. So it does have hope right here. So they don't want you to lose hope. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that you chose this one specifically. There's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel, okay? And with the bumblebee, I didn't interpret this for the other pile, but I don't care. I feel called to interpret it for you. So the bumblebee talks about perseverance, but specifically about doing things that you didn't think you would be able to do. Because the thing with bumblebees is that they are so like, their wings are so small that scientifically, like in terms of physics, they shouldn't be able to fly, but they still do, right? And that's kind of the thing for you. They don't want you to give up no matter what, even if things seem impossible, even if things hurt or you feel exhausted. They want you to keep going, because you kind of like, you're able to beat all the odds, okay? You're gonna win against all odds, okay? And remember to ground down. This card is so beautiful to me, because grounding down with Mother Earth, or Father Earth, I don't know, whatever you call it and whatever you believe, is very calming. And for me, at least, it always calms down my anxiety. So I feel like it's truly gonna help you if you look into it. So do try to try grounding techniques, not just in terms of spirituality, not just in terms of meditation. There are grounding techniques in psychology. I don't remember exactly one of them, but one of them is like working with the 5 senses, seeing like 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell. Whatever the fuck the other one was, I forgot completely. 1 thing you can taste, like something like that. So that's grounding for your senses. So really do look into those techniques, because they're really gonna help you with this pressure you feel on your back, and also to just get through the year. But overall, even through the challenges, I feel like your year is pretty positive, especially if you look at it that way. Because at the end of the day, it's up to you how you look at things. And something they say, which I forgot who said it, but it's like, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Yeah, that I really truly do believe that's a thing. So it's to kind of like remind yourself that at the end of the storm there's a rainbow for you next year. And I really do feel like they want you to focus more on the good things here, because love is not bad. Like, always choose love. Like, what's the most loving decision that you can make in whatever situation you're in? What's love for you? Like, what decision would you make out of love for you in this situation? Because it doesn't matter. Like, a decision that you make out of love is not a bad decision. Like, and I mean genuine love. I don't mean like you say it's love because it isn't. No, like, I mean like genuine love for yourself and for other people, okay? So I just heard like I heard fuck off with that shit. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you're talking to someone else, because I'm really do seeing like this specific scene in my head about someone telling that to someone else that's messing with them. It's interesting that they brought that up. It looks like a party. It's just bringing it to mind. So don't be afraid to tell someone off if they're fucking your vibe, okay? Again, you are important. You don't have to be the peacemaker if you don't want to. Like, don't let people walk over you. All right? So that's all I have for you. I really love your year. it's a challenging year, but it's always a challenging year, isn't it? But I do feel like at least you're really gonna be having some fun, and I truly do feel like you're gonna be making important connections with other people, and many of them are gonna be long lasting. Okay, I do want to make that clear right here, because I did talk more about the challenges, like, because again, this is not like focused on just one thing, it's just like a general overview. So but yeah, that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Thursday at 12 p.m. EST and occasionally on Sundays. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do all of my updates about the channel over there, and I also put out some readings occasionally. I don't even have a schedule right now. Okay, so if you want to buy me a coffee, my Venmo, my Cash App are in the description down below. It is never expected, but it is always very appreciated. I wish you the best of luck on your journey, and much, much love to you. Bye-bye. Hello people, pile 3, this is your reading. So if you didn't watch the beginning, I'm still going to explain what each of these cards mean, because I have like a little bit of a system for this reading. So I'm just going to lay out of your cards, explain a little bit about the positioning, but we'll get into it. So this card is going to represent like the overall energy for your 2022. So you got the Fool. Ooh, I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. So these next 3 cards are going to represent your blessings and challenges. I'm going to get both of those from these 3 cards. I'm more of an intuitive reader. I'm just going to read both, like the light and shadow attributes of each card. Okay. So you have the 4 of Pentacles, the 4 of Cups. Interesting. So 4-4. And the Lovers. See, pile 2 got the Lovers as like their general energy. I love that. All right. Multiples of 2 here. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Interesting. So now these 3 cards are going to represent love and self-love, finance and career, and then spirituality and mental health. I'm going to get all of those from each of these, okay? So your first card is the 4 of Wands, 444. You got 444. Okay, I'll get into it. Give me a second. Then you got the 5 of Pentacles for finance and career. And then you got the Sun for spirituality and mental health. I love that. I still love that. Okay. And these are going to just be like extra things, extra messages that you could know right now, or just something that's going to help with the reading. Just put it into perspective, okay? So we have a new Earth. A new Earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. It's literally a new Earth with the Fool. Oh my god. I don't know how they do it, but like the last pile for all my readings, they're always insane. Like I don't know what this is. Then you have We the Hathors, Deep Love, Mother's Milk, Birth as a Portal. I don't know if that's how you say it. That's how I saw her name. Hathor. I have to say Hathor for some reason. Anyway. We have Light as Matter. This card, when I look at it, it looks like it's moving. Like, it looks like it's moving 100%. I'm going to explain it in a second. I really like that card. And then you got Be Love. Oh. Okay, and your last card is an affirmator, so it's also like an affirmation. You can use it if you want. But, bro, your year is going to be great. I don't care. So you got good things to come. There are so many amazing gifts coming my way. I can't see them now because I respect the general convention of not peeking under the wrapping paper, but they will show up when the time is just right, and that's when I'll remember how much fun it is to be surprised. I love that because we're doing like a 22 like year ahead reading, and I'm doing this before Christmas, so this is gonna be going up before Christmas, like before the 25th, like when most people celebrate Christmas, before the new year. And this is like gift, like opening a gift for the new year. And I really, really love that. So maybe your year is going to be starting a little bit early with a little surprise before this year is even done. So that's for some of you. It may be coming up. So like your year is going to maybe starting a little bit early by Christmas. So the Fool as your general energy, it's a whole new beginning. The Fool is number 0. The Fool is like the ultimate new beginning, and you got that with New Earth. So this next year for you, it's gonna be such a fucking huge adventure, but like a good type of adventure. I really do feel like that's gonna be the case. You're gonna be going through like very surprising events, but not in a oh no type of way. It's like, oh, that was like a really pleasant surprise kind of way. And I feel like you really need that in your life. I feel like you've been through quite a bit. There's this spontaneity that's coming up. So I don't know. And also the Fool, they're calling my attention to the fact that the Fool is kind of traveling. I don't know if you're going to be traveling. Like if you plan, well, that will make sense with this. But, and this. I don't know how that's going to work with the pandemic. Well, I don't know how you're going to do that, but it's not up to me to know how. It's up to the universe, right? But you may be traveling like around the world. I'm seeing like almost like this nomadic lifestyle, or maybe just not saying what place for too long. I don't know if you are gonna be like, I don't know if you've been planning on taking like a really long trip around different countries, so kind of like jumping from country to country, maybe like countries that are connected to each other, so like maybe within like Europe itself, for some of you South America, but it's like some of you may planning on taking like a huge trip, and it's like taking a leap of faith, because I feel like if this is the case for you, you have been thinking about it, but you're thinking about like kind of like the pros and cons, especially with like I mentioned the pandemic, but you may actually just take a leap of faith and go through with that. If you were planning on doing that, you were having some doubts, I'm assuming it is your sign to go forward. Always be responsible though, okay? Very responsible. Don't do any crazy shit. Be careful, take care of yourself. But the Fool is, I always see it as a good thing. Some people say like the Fool is naive and that's not good, and it's like he's like a fool, but I don't feel like that's the case. So you're going to be taking a lot of new adventures, and I really do feel like they're adventures. It doesn't mean that you won't have any challenges, because I am seeing the challenges here. But overall, this is a very, very good energy for the next year. So let's get into the blessings and challenges. So you got the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, and the Lovers. Now, you got 4 because you got this one here as well. But the blessing here, with that Fool and like these two as a blessing here, what I'm seeing here is like some things are definitely not pleasing you, and they are not fulfilling, like something is leaving like a void in your soul, or you feel like something is missing, and this is gonna propel you forward to start looking for what it is that you're missing, to be honest. So it really does feel like, even though these things may be challenges, like we have the 4 and the 5 of Pentacles right here, and kind of like as a blessing, these two, honestly, they're easier to interpret as challenges, but as blessings, I really do feel like with these two as they are, even though they're not in like the same category, you do have both of them, so I'm gonna acknowledge them. Something that you thought maybe like as a challenge, something that you thought was stable is not gonna turn out to be stable at some point in the next year, and that's really gonna make you kind of question what it is that you have within your life, and you're gonna realize that there are things that are not gonna be fulfilling for you anymore, and that's really a really hard thing to do and to go through, which I understand why that's coming up as a challenge, okay? And you're gonna have to make a decision, and that decision is gonna require some type of sacrifice, because I do feel like the Lovers, in terms of decisions, it talks about it as a very important decision that usually requires some type of sacrifice on your part. So like taking one decision is going to require that you sacrifice something from like something, and like the other one is going to require you to do the same in another way. So kind of like weighing your options here. But you're going to have to make some type of decision. Now, as a blessing, it's like finally finding something like after this. Their blessing here for you is like finally finding what it is that truly resonates with your soul, but because you went out to look for it. Like it didn't just fall on your lap or enter your life without you doing anything. There's something that it's gonna happen because you took the action, you took the leap of faith that allowed you to have certain experiences and meet certain people that are really gonna make you feel fulfilled within your own life, and that's gonna kind of like fill that thing that you feel like it's missing. Now, I have to acknowledge here, like the red cardinal for me, it's like a sign of love. You have the lovers and you have the Four of Wands right here, so there's an emphasis on love here. So I feel like you could be blessed with a very healthy, new, and probably in like a very, very loving relationship. Because I can't just ignore it when it's right in front of my face, even if you have like the beloved, deep love, mother's milk, birth's portal. Doesn't have to be like you're gonna be pregnant or like you're gonna make someone pregnant, but keep that in mind because it is here. But it's you finally kind of connecting with people that really do understand you and take the time. That's really going to be a blessing for you because maybe it's not something you have experienced before. People who value you, and also I feel like as a blessing, this is something within the next year you're really going to be, it's like you're going to start to see yourself in all of your greatness, and there's something about you embodying goddess energy. When I say goddess energy, this is like a very specific thing. It's coming up like Wiccan kind of thing. I don't know why. But you embodying this more divine feminine energy or yin energy, whatever you want to call it, that's more receptive and connected. So I feel like you're going to be tapping more into that receptive energy, even though you're going to be taking action, which is yang energy or masculine energy or active energy. I truly do see you kind of like enjoying more of that receptive energy within the next year. So you're taking actions and going specific places or doing specific things, taking leaps of faith left and right, but they're really going to allow you to receive. That's the word I was looking for. So kind of like receive. So next year especially, I feel like you're going to be receiving what you put out. So it may be a year where it's very easy for you to manifest what you want. So keep that in mind. I do want to mention here before I move on to these, like this card, it feels like it's moving for me. And in the guidebook, this card talks about being flexible. So that's really important with the Fool card right here. Things at times may not go as expected. Like, in fact, I feel like throughout the year, some things may not work out as you want them to. But they're saying to flow like water, not get stuck on that, just flow. You will find other solutions and other options, okay? So moving on to these that are more specific, I'm gonna start with this one for love and self-love. The Four of Wands is like a very obvious relationship card. So I'm not gonna lie. If you like the idea of marriage, there may be a marriage involved. And if you are in some type of relationship right now, I'm not saying that it's gonna end, but if you feel like your relationship right now isn't where it's supposed to be, it's very likely that you're gonna end it for next year, and then you're gonna be meeting someone who, like, things are gonna be moving quite quickly, but you're still gonna be feeling very stable and fulfilled. And like I said, if you believe in marriage, I do see a union here because this is like a marriage card, in my opinion. And also celebrating with the people you love. Now, this card is more settling down, which is like a little bit of a conflicting energy, well, it's not conflicting, but it's like it's more like a contrast with this full energy, which is like very kind of like impermanent and moving here and there and taking leaps of faith and taking on new adventures. You may settle down, like you may go through like it feels like you taking like a crazy leap of faith. It's not crazy, but it's just like a big leap of faith. And maybe you're gonna be like, it's an example, like you take that leap of faith and say, hey, I'm gonna visit 7 countries within 2 months, and that's it, I'm gonna do it. And you pick up your stuff and you go, and then within that journey you meet someone, and then you're like, oh, I really love this person, and then you get along amazingly, and it's like a beautiful relationship, and then you're like, okay, let's get married. Or like, let's make this official in some way, and you have like a big celebration and you settle down in that sense. Okay, again, gonna be different for everybody. I'm using that as an example that may apply to someone, but I'm using it more so as an example, because I mean, you know what your leap of faith is, so you don't need me to tell you, right? So, but that thing is going to lead you to feeling more fulfilled, feeling more stable after it. Even through this card, which we're going to talk about. So this is the 5 of Pentacles. Now, the 5 of Pentacles in a finances and career reading, like in that position, is not a great card to get. I'm going to be honest with you, because the 5 of Pentacles is more about lack. Okay, so next year you may struggle a little bit with your finances, which if you do plan on like taking that trip, that makes sense, right? So that kind of makes sense that you're going to be spending more money than you usually would. Now, do keep in mind for the next year, like really budget, like take into account everything that you kind of do. So like, for next year, you need to really be careful with your finances here. But you may even like leave your job. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So you may go through like a period that is very financially insecure at some point. This is for some of you, take it as it resonates. Okay, don't be afraid here. I'm not gonna fear monger to you. I'm simply saying what I'm seeing. All right. My point is not to scare you. But again, that may be stressful in the beginning, but that's going to lead to good things afterwards. So I don't see that lasting forever, because again, we have that says good things to come, and they're talking about being flexible. So maybe in the realm of career and finances, you may struggle a little bit, but again, it's not going to last forever. And it's something that it's like, it's an uncomfortable thing, maybe even a bad thing, that it's gonna lead to something greater that is better. Okay, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that it's not gonna be difficult, or like you're not gonna be stressed, or like it's gonna be like a couple of days and then you get stand up on your feet again. I'm not gonna tell that to you. I'm not gonna tell you like a fairy tale or some shit. I'm simply gonna tell you what I see here, which is that again, with that nomadic lifestyle, that might even be talking about you actually move from place to place in terms of work, because you maybe, like I said, maybe some of you, you're going to quit your job in some way or lose it, and then you're going to get a job that requires you to travel around. May not be as stable, but again, it's temporary, because I always kind of like to look at the cards that come after the cards that I have here, and I feel compelled to talk about that, because after this card you got the 6 of Pentacles, which the 6 of Pentacles is about having enough to share with other people. Okay, and I mean, even though you have this card in a specific position, I still have it here, and for me the Sun card is like the most positive card in all of tarot. Okay, and I have to mention it, so I don't feel like it's gonna be a bad thing. This is like, if I had to say, I would literally put this card up here with your challenges. But again, temporary. This is not going to be forever. Just be very mindful and really do budget. Don't, like, if you want to take a trip, like I said, and travel 7 countries, budget your money, like count it and keep track of everything so you can minimize the chances of this happening. Because again, this is not like an absolute. This is like the energy right now. You can always change this. You are the master of your own destiny. Okay, whatever actions you take, you can prevent this. You can change all of this right now. You can choose not to take that leap of faith, and you can change all of this for yourself, okay? And I want you to keep that in mind, that whatever I say here is not an immovable fact, okay? I want you to see it more as a guideline and where the energies are right now, okay? So the sun, in terms of your spirituality and mental health, I mean, like, it's the sun. Like, this is like the best card in terms of your mental health. So I do feel like even if you have some challenges at some point, your mental health is gonna be very good next year. So you're gonna be feeling a lot happier, a lot more lighthearted. It's kind of like you are going to be really getting in touch with that inner child, which is coming up. And also, in terms of your spirituality, you're going to be feeling very, very connected to everything that's around you. And that includes people, that includes animals, that includes everything, okay? And you're going to be there's a lot of clarity, like, because the thing with the sun is that the sun illuminates. So you may get like, to be honest, for some of you, if there's like a trip involved, there's something that you're gonna do, but for some of you, this includes like a spiritual retreat of some kind. I almost said something that I wasn't supposed to say. It's late, I'm tired. And it's like, it's so fucking positive. So I don't think you're gonna have issues here whatsoever. So mental health and spirituality, A+, okay? There's this childlike energy here, which I really love. I did mention the inner child, but so like, if you have been working on healing your inner child, like, next year it's gonna be like your best point up to, like, since, like, just based off the past, is like a huge improvement in terms of your mental health, okay, and your happiness and your ability to be spiritual. Also, like, you may be awakening like a lot of spiritual gifts, because that is, the sun does that, so just be mindful of that. So again, lastly, we do have Beloved, and it's a straightforward card. I don't feel like I need to explain it that much, but they're giving me like a message of vulnerability here. So you see how the hands are kind of bring it closer. It's not gonna work anyway, because the focus is like set. I set it like specific focus, so it wouldn't move when I was here. So it's about being like a little bit more vulnerable with yourself. So that leap of faith, this new beginning, it all requires vulnerability on your part. Any relationship that you get into, it requires vulnerability, because if there is no vulnerability, like, especially with other people, that could hinder the relationship, and usually it does hinder relationships, okay? So it's not to wear your heart on your sleeve in a way that you don't prevent, like, not in a way that you don't protect yourself. It's just like vulnerability in the sense of showing up even if you don't have control of the outcome, and still saying, like, this is who I am, this is how I feel, and that's it. I can't change, like, well, it's not that you can't change it, it's like, this is how I feel right now, this is where I'm at right now, and I'm letting you know because I want to know if you're in the same page as me. And even with that leap of faith, you have to be vulnerable, because you have to, I mean, you're taking a risk, because it is a risk. Like, the Fool card is like taking risks, so that requires a certain level of vulnerability. But I mentioned this in another pile as well. So, like, at the end of the day, as long as you make the choice out of love for yourself, because love is like the highest frequency, everything is going to be okay, to be honest. And when you are love, like, when you are love and you give other people love, it's not that I'm not gonna say like you receive what you give out, like, that's not always the case, but it's like more people that are willing to be vulnerable, like as vulnerable as you, they come forward as well. Does that mean there are not gonna be like a few people that are trash? No, that, like, sometimes people are just trash, okay? They're going through their own thing, and they're not great to you, but you're going to be more open to people who are on the same vibration as you, on the same frequency, and they're actually willing to be your equals. Okay, so I'm really seeing that with that Lover's card right here and that Four of Wands, so keep that in mind. So yeah, and good things to come. I always see as good things. And I did mention that, I don't know if you can see that, but this card, it's like there's a card wrapped in like a present, like gift wrapping, like the wrapping paper, and it has like eyes on it. So that's reminded me of the is it called Azure? I think, like the blue eye, which is for like against evil eye. So whatever bad thing you encounter, I want you to know that you are being protected, and you will get out of it. Like if something happened and it's not great, you'll be fine. You're being protected. You're gonna come up victorious. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to, because I do put out new videos every Thursday at 12 p.m. EST and occasionally on Sundays. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want. I do all my other stuff at the channel over there, and I also post readings occasionally. If you want to buy me a coffee, I have my Venmo, my Cash App in the description down below. It is never expected, but it is always very appreciated. I wish the best of luck on your journey, literally. And much love to you. Bye bye.